Hello friends, let's get started with our lab. So this is our lab for Cloud Run lab. So there are some prerequisites that you have to install on your local system in order to perform this lab. So which is a Docker Hub should be installed on your local system. You should have a Docker Hub ID and you should also install a gcloud SDK on your system. So these all three things I have already installed. I had a Docker Hub ID and Docker is already installed on my system. Gcloud SDK also I have installed. It's very simple. You just have to go and copy paste the command from the Google. You can search it and you can install these three prerequisite on your system. Once you have all these prerequisites installed, then you can start performing the lab. In this lab we are going to what we are going to do is I have already explained you about Cloud Run, Docker, Kubernetes. Those all parts I have already explained you in the theory. So in this we are going to have from the Docker Hub account we are going to pull one Nginx image, base image of Nginx. So what's a base image? I have already told you. Base image is the image which are provided, official image which are created by Docker or all the major companies or the major providers for their product. They have one base image. This base image they are this base image they for Nginx they have already created one Nginx base image. Using that base image you can customize that image. You can download that base image and then create your own image by customizing it, as in the theory section I have told you, right? Like this one. So you have this base image. I will download this Nginx base image from the Docker Hub. Then we are going to customize the index.html file and create one more image for ourselves. So I will download one Nginx image on my local system. Then I am going to customize it, and then I will show you how to run that image on your local system. First I will download this Nginx and I will run it on my local system, so you can see how the base image works, how you can download it, and how you can run that Docker base image on your system, how you can create the container. Then we are going to customize this base image and by creating one new index.html file, and then again I will run that new customized image on the Docker Hub on the container, and I will show you the customized changes that I have done. And then once this new image is created and ready, we will push this image to a GCP Artifact Registry. Once that image is pushed to the Artifact Registry, I will create an Artifact Registry and I will show you how to push that image to a Artifact Registry. Then inside that Artifact Registry I will show you that image. Once that image is there in the Artifact Registry, you can use that image and deploy it on a Cloud Run, so that your your container will start running in the Cloud Run and you will get one URL. You don't have to do any Kubernetes commands, like you don't have to create any Kubernetes pods, replica sets or deployment. Directly from the base image will be deployed inside the Cloud Run and you can use a URL to access that application. So this is our total lab that we have. In this lab we are going to do some Docker basics also. So like for Docker basic, I am going to pull this image from the Docker and then I am going to customize it. So these are the few commands that we are going to go through with the Docker. These commands, let me walk you through the commands. So Docker ps will show you all the running containers that you have on your system. Docker ps-a will show you all the containers that you have, even though if it's running or not. Docker ps will only show you the running containers, but Docker ps-a will show you all the containers. Even it's running or not running, you can see all the list of all the containers. Docker ps-a-q will show you the container ID of all the containers that you have on your system. Docker pull image info, this is the command through which we are going to pull the Nginx image. This Docker pull command is used to pull the image from a Docker Hub. Docker images will show you how many images that you have. So Docker ps will show you how many containers that you have, running containers that you have. This will show you how many containers you have, and Docker images will show you how many images that you have. Once you download that image from the Docker Hub, we can see that image using Docker image command. Docker rm container id /name, this will remove the container which is running or which is stopped. We can delete that container by using Docker rm command. Then Docker rmi command is used to delete the image. Docker version will show you the Docker version of the Docker which is running on your system. Docker run hyphen name hyphen p port number. So there are two port number. Docker run command is used to run the image that you have downloaded. So using Docker run command you will run that image. So Docker run hyphen name of the application that you want to give, then hyphen p you have to provide the port number. So x port number represents the container, your local port number, and y port number represents the container port number. So these two port numbers will be matched, will get configured. So suppose your Docker image is running on 8080 and on your local system that image you are running on port 80. So you have downloaded that image from the Docker hub which is running, which has to run on port 8080, and on your local system you will configure that port, that image, we will run that container on port 80. So your request will go to your local system on port 80 and then to interact with the container on port 8080. Hyphen d, this will then hyphen d you have to provide the details of the image. Docker stop container, Docker start container, these are the commands to stop and start the containers. Docker xit container /bin/sh command is used to connect to the container set. So once you have started the container, Docker run command, the container is running. So in order to connect to the container itself, you can use Docker exec-it container name /bin/sh. So you can go inside the container itself. I will show you by connecting to the container. Then Docker build -t, this is the command which can be used to build a new Docker image. Docker build -t, repo name, the name of the repo where you want to build it, and the version number that you want to give. Docker tag, this creates a new tag on your image. Docker push command is used to push your image to the Docker hub or the Artifact Registry. So these are the particular commands. Now let's log in on the Docker hub. So Docker hub, so I have logged in my Docker hub account. Let's go ahead and then let's try to check for the Nginx image that we have. So you can see there are some official images. This is Docker official image of Nginx. This is the hardened image of Nginx. Then this is also an official image of Nginx. You can modify that. So this is a customized image of Nginx. You can see that, right? So these are all like Ubuntu Nginx image, Cachem Web Nginx image, Rancher Nginx. You can also push it on the Docker hub itself. You can also create a customized image of Nginx and push it into the Docker hub. If someone wants to use it, he will use your image and then try to deploy it in the container. So for now we are going to have this Nginx image, official Docker Nginx image. Click on this, and once you click on this will provide you a pull command. So this is the pull command to pull the Nginx image on your local system. So let's try to do that. I have copied it. Now let's try to open command prompt on the system. So if you see, right, I will show you I have already installed Docker. So this will show you the list of command that, see, it's already installed. So that's why it's showing me all the commands that you can use to run the Docker. So now let's first start with Docker version. Let's see if my Docker is up and running. So my Docker is running. Let me open my Docker desktop as well, which I have already downloaded. So from here only, if you see on the home page, you can see the option of installing the Docker hub. See, download for your Windows, download the desktop application. Welcome to Docker. Download the desktop application. Also available for Mac and Linux. You can download whichever version of operating system you are using. You can download that version and install it on your local system, and then continue with this lab Docker version. So I have started Docker desktop as well. Now my Docker desktop, if you can see, right, you can see this is my Docker desktop and this is the client through which I am interacting with my Docker desktop. Okay, let me have it here only. So now let's start. Let's see if we have any Docker images. No images are there. Any containers? So no containers and no images are there. Now let's try to pull the official image of Nginx that we just now saw it. So this is the command, right? So let's try to paste this command, enter. So this should pull the Nginx image. So see, it's pulling the Nginx image. Now your Nginx image is getting pulled from the local, from your Docker hub. It's getting downloaded. Okay, it's downloaded. Now if you see, if you run the command docker images, you can see the Docker image. See, Docker image, this is the name of the repository, this is the tag name which has been provided, this is the tag name, and then we have the image ID, this is the image ID, create date 5 days ago, and the size is 103 MB. Now if we want to, so we have this image downloaded from Docker hub. Okay, now if you go to this diagram that we have downloaded this image from the Docker hub. Let's try to run this image on my local system. So if you try to run this image, right, docker run hyphen name, let's provide the name as app1 -p, Nginx run on port 80 and port 80. So my local also it will run on port 80, and Nginx itself it runs on port 80. So port 8080 -d, then repo name slash okay, repo name slash tag name, no, repo name colon tag name, repo name colon tag name, press enter. Okay, so this has started, the container has been started. Now if you try to see that, right, docker ps, so you can see you have this container up and running. We should able to access the Nginx, this base image. Now we should access on our local host. So local host, you can see Nginx is now there, right? So this is running on my local system. Let me show you by stopping this docker stop app1. So once you stop the container, so with docker ps command, right, you can see this is the container ID that you have, this is the image name that is running, this is the command, and this create date and time, status, how much time it is up and running, and port number on which it's accessible, and then the name of the application. So since it's already stopped, right, if we try to refresh it, then nothing, you should see that there is no site can be reached. So this has been stopped. Now if you try to run the command docker ps, you will not see anything, right? Now if you try to run the command docker ps -a, you can see the container ID. So docker ps -a will show you all the containers that you have on your local system. Docker ps will only show you the running containers. Got it? Now let's try to run it again. So docker run. So now let's try to run it again. So since you already have this app1, right, so you will not able to, or you can stop this. You can, since we have stopped it, we can start it again. So let's try to start it. Docker start app1. So why this command failed, right? Since we already have this image with name app1, since we already have this image as app1, so it's saying it's a conflict. You should provide another name. You cannot use the app1 again. You should have, if I run this command with app2, then it will start running. But why to run the same image with two application name? Since we already have this container, we can just start this container. We have stopped this container. Docker, if you see, right, docker stop app1, so it has stopped. Now we have started this application. Now again, if we try to refresh this, we can see that Nginx is there, right? Nginx is up and running. This is the base image of Nginx. So you can make the changes in the base image based on your requirement. You can create the index.html file, and then you can start using this Nginx. Okay, now Docker start app1 is running. Now let's try to let's try to see the container details. Docker ps. So this is showing you the container depend. Now let's try to connect to this container. Docker exec -it, and then we have /bin/sh container ID. I think app name we have to provide Docker exe container name, and then it container name is app1 and /bin/sh So see, I am connected to my container now. If I show you ls, right? So these are we are inside our container now. These are the details that we have. If I host name, let's try to see this is the host name, and which has the same container ID. If you see, right, the container ID of the host name is exactly the same. If you see ps-ef, you can see all the process which are currently running on this system. So this is how you can connect to your container itself. Docker exe it app1, name of the container, name of the app or container name, and then /bin/sh. Now let's try to exit from here. So this is done. Now let's try to Docker ps. We have this. Now let's try to stop it again. Docker stop app1. Okay, this is stop. Now let's try to remove this. Docker rm app1. So this is removed. Now let's again try to run Docker ps. You don't have anything. Docker ps-a. You don't have anything. Got it? So this is how this image is. I have shown you how to download an image, how to run that image on your local system. Now let's try to customize this image. So in order to customize this image, there are a few steps that we have to perform. So on my local system, I have to create one Docker. In this Docker, I will create you one new file. So using that file only, we can create a new image. For creating a new image, we need a Docker file as well as, so let's try to create one folder, mkdir cloud run new. So cloud run new, I have the folder I have created. Now let's try to go to cloud run -new, and inside this cloud run -new we have to create, you can see cloud run new is there. We have to create two files, one Docker file and index.html file we have to create. Let's try to create this. So this is the first file, create and then inside this file, so this new text file is created. Now let's try to create the Docker file. So inside this Docker file, what you have to write is from Nginx, capital from Nginx, from Nginx, copy index.html /usr /share /nginx /html. Okay, so what I am telling in the Docker file, what I'm saying, from the Nginx image, copy the index.html from my local system to this path of the container, and then build a new image. So this is the Docker file. I will show you this path. If you go in the Docker hub, right, we have already deleted our. Now let's try to start it once more. You don't have any, you have the image. So image, so we have this image. Let's try to run this again once more. Docker run. So let's try to run it again. Now Docker ps, you have this up and running. Now let's try to connect to this container with Docker exe command, which I have shown you before. With Docker exe, so we are connected, right? Now let's go to this path. I will show you, we have this HTML path inside the container. So cd /usr /share, then Nginx, and then HTML, right? If you go inside this, you have one index.html file. So what we are trying to say, right? We are saying replace this index.html file with the new index.html file that we have. I'm just trying to cat this. So this is the one that you are currently seeing on the web browser, right? This is the one. This is the details of that Nginx file. So index.html, let's try to replace it. Exit. Okay. Should be Docker file. Let's try to rename this. Save it as Docker file. Save as. And the name of the file should be Docker file, and extension should not be txt, it should be in Docker format. Okay, now it's currently saved in index.txt only. I will change it, I will show you. So this Docker file is created. Delete this. Let's try to create the index.html also. So for index.html you can write anything. So I will write this is my first cloud run project on Nginx. This is my first cloud run project on Nginx, right? And then anything you can write. I'm just writing thanks Nitesh, hello world, right? So these all things should be printed on the web browser. I will show you. Let's try to save this one as index.html. index.html, and then save it. So once you save it, right, you can see that index.html file is created. Let's try to delete this one. Docker is file extension is not correct. Let me change that extension to Docker extension. So where it is, if you inside Cloud Run, right, we have this .txt. You can save it as Docker. That's it. So that extension will get changed. See, now it's not a txt file. So we have created two files. One is the index.html file and another one is the Docker file inside my local system. Got it? So now let's try to build it. I will go to this path cd, and I'm inside in this path dir. Then you can see both the files are there. Let's try to build it. For building we have this command docker build -t repo name and then image name /version, right? So let's try to do that. Docker build -t docker build -t repo name cloud dba, that is /nginx new, and then from current path you have to build it. That's what I am trying to say it. After that you have to put one dot, so you have so it will build this image from the current path itself. Now if you see Docker images, so you can see we have two images. This was the base image that we downloaded and this is the new image that we have created. Now let's try to run this new image. Okay, so do we have any image, any container now? Yes, we have one container which is app1. Let's try to delete this container because we are going to use the same port number. So docker stop app1, then docker rm app1. So this is done. Now let's try to build it, run it. Docker run -name. You can use any name, app1, app2. Let's try to use app2 -p, so it's easy for you to understand actually. 80/80 and -d, then detail of this new image that we have created. So the repo name is cloud run dbo3 nginx and then :new. Tag name is new. So it's started, right? Docker ps. So this new image is running. If you now try to localhost, this is the base image, right? If I refresh it, see, this is my Cloud Run project. Thanks, hello world. So I did not use any HTML format. If I use the HTML, I would have seen that one. So this is my Cloud Run project on Nginx. Thanks, Nitesh, hello world. So this is this new image, this customized image which we have created. It's up and running on that. With that new customized image, we have created a container, and that container is running on my local system. So if I go again to this diagram, what all steps we have done, we have downloaded this Docker image, Nginx base image. I have run that base image on my local system. Then I have customized that base image, and I have ran that new customized image on my local system. Now the next step is we have to push that image to our artifact registry. For that, we have to go to GCP console first. So GCP console, go to console. Okay, here search for artifact registry. Artifact registry. And inside this artifact registry, we have to create one repo. So create one repository, name it as cloud run. Okay, and the format will be Docker only. Then region, we can use any region. I will use Mumbai. And then paste Docker run. Any description you can give. With the default settings, create this repo. Okay. So once this repo is created, then you have to copy the path of this repo. So this repo is created. If you see, right, go back to the repository, you can see this Cloud Run repo is created. Now if you open this Cloud Run repo, you can copy this complete path of this repo. Copy this path, go back, and let's try to push this. So in order to push that, the first step would be you have to authenticate. I have to authenticate my local system with GCP console, right? So for that, the command is gcloud auth login. So once you run this command, it will try to authenticate you with this, with your current repo that you have, with your current account actually. So select your account on which you have this registry created. This registry is created on my this account. So I will try to authenticate it, multi-factor authentication on my GCP account. That's why it's asking me to send the authentication. So now I have authenticated with my local system has been authenticated with GCP console. Now we can push this image, this new image that we have created, right? Docker images. So this new image that we have created, we can push this image to the artifact registry. In order to push that image, you have to create one tag for that. So for creating the tag, docker tag image info and path and slash image name, right? So docker tag and then image name, cloud nginx new, tag info, image info, colon new, and then path detail. Path we have copied from here, right? So copy this path again, paste it here, slash, then paste the repo name, and then colon cloud run. I'm just giving a tag name for it. So see, this has been created. Now if you see, right, you have three images. This is the one, and this was the customized one, and this is the base image. So this is the cloud run image that we have created. Now we can push this image directly to the artifact registry. In order to push that image, the command we have is push and the path name, right? So docker push space, copy this complete path name that you have, paste it here, colon cloud run, enter, It's very simple. Once you start doing it, right, it will be it's very simple, and logical commands are there. You don't have to run it, you will just remember everything. And even though if you have to run it, just have this one slide for your reference, and all the commands are there, so you can use this command to do your lab. So this is the, so currently it's pushing this new image that we have created, right, tagged image. It's pushing that image to the artifact registry. So it's showing as pushed. Let's wait for it to send the confirmation. So it has pushed the image. Now if we refresh this, we should see the new image here. See, we have cloud DBA 333 Nginx images there. So what all steps we have now performed? We have pulled the Docker Hub Nginx base image, customized that base image, and then pushed that base image to the artifact registry. Now let's try to run this uh, this image that we have pushed on the artifact registry. Now let's try to run this on the Cloud Run itself. So on my local system I've already shown you. So now what we are trying to do is, right, we are just have customized this image. We have pushed that image to the artifact registry. Now we can directly run it on the Kubernetes. We don't have to create any GKE or Kubernetes service, or we don't have to create any pods or manifest file. We will go to the Cloud Run, we will create one service, then point this artifact registry image there, and then it will start running. Let me show you that Cloud Run. So open Cloud Run, go to Cloud Run here, and in the Cloud Run go to services, and this here in the services, right, just click on deploy container, and then here you have to select that container, your artifact registry. So this is the one. Select this, and then let's name it as Cloud Run only, Cloud Run lab 4, and then allow public access. Rest all things you can keep it as default. Here you can keep port as port 80, as our Nginx is running on port 80, and hit create. So this is as simple as that. You can just use this service. Now it will start deploying that artifact registry image on the Cloud Run, and you have got this URL. Let's wait for this activity to complete. Once this activity is completed using this URL, you can, so it's done. Just click on this URL and see, this is my first Cloud Run project on Nginx. Thanks Hitesh. So it has deployed that image on the Cloud Run itself. It's we don't have to do any configuration, we don't have to install any software. We have just created that, pulled that image from the from Docker Hub. We have just customized it, then pushed that image to the artifact registry. Once that image is there in the artifact registry, you can use Cloud Run to deploy it. So this is our lab. Thank you so much for your time. Now let's try to delete all the resources, right? That is also very important. So deletion is very easy for Cloud Run. Go ahead and delete it. Hit on delete. This will delete the Cloud Run, and then here you can go to artifact registry and delete the artifact registry as well. Artifact registry, select it and then delete it. So this will delete the artifact registry for you. And then from here also, right, we have these images and everything here, we can delete it. So docker ps, it's showing me the running container, docker stop app2. Okay, now let's try to stop this, and then we can delete this. Docker stop app2 core rm app2, it's deleted. So do you have any container? Docker ps -a, no container is there. Now let's try to see images. So we have couple of images. Let's try to delete those images as well. Docker rmi, and then the image id you can provide. So this will delete the base image. Then docker image, docker rmi, and then use this one, So this is untagged. Now let's images. Now let's try to remove this one also, docker rmi image id. So this is also deleted. Now docker images, you don't have anything. So we have completely deleted all the resources which we have created for this lab. Thank you so much for your time, team, guys.